This is part 3 of the story of my best friend who got dry needling on Monday, November 25th, and 4 weeks later, she is still in a Trauma One center. She's been fighting for her life. Let me explain. So you'll want to go to part 1 and part 2 to find out what happened in between today, part 3 that I'm telling. So she had an MRI. We got an MRI on December, let me look at the calendar, December 4th. Wednesday, December 4th, and we weren't going to expect the results back until Friday. She is bedridden at this moment. She had to take a walker to literally get in to get the MRI, and she was in tremendous pain just to get in to get that MRI done. It was an MRI without contrast, so all we were going to be able to see was the bones, but as far as we knew right now, the doctors were telling us that it looked like her bones were out of alignment, and maybe one of those her spinal cord was pinching that sciatic nerve and causing her tremendous pain. So we had come home Wednesday night, and I started calling maybe some back surgeons because I'm like, I've already seen the x-ray. She needs surgery. And that was difficult because back surgeons were saying the earliest I could even see her, that's not surgery, the earliest I could even see her was like late February. And I was dying. I'm like, she's bedridden right now. This is crazy. Like, she needs surgery like today, now. So it was really hard. But Thursday, she was again just in bed all day. And at this point, she is so weak. I am literally taking water in a straw up to her to make sure she's getting water in. She is taking pain pills now that I'm worried about her getting constipated. So I'm trying to put a prune in. And she's telling me, it's so painful just to drink the water. Her neck is starting to hurt. And I'm like, you know, she'd gotten to the point that her back was hurting so bad that she was just, by the time she came back to bed from going to the bathroom, she would just flop wherever. And I would try to help straighten her out, and she's like, leave me alone. So I thought her neck's hurting her because she's just kind of laying weird in the bed. And then she started complaining that her head was hurting. And I'm like, of course your head's hurting. You're not even hardly drinking water. You're becoming dehydrated now. And she wasn't eating a prune. Like, I put a prune in her mouth, and it took her like forever just to get that down. So Thursday night at midnight, I gave her a pain pill and I left her. I'm trying to go to my own room to get some sleep. And because I'm exhausted by this time. I wake up at about 5:30 a.m. and I'm like, I'm going to go check on her. Pain pills due at 6 a.m. I'm just going to go check on her. And I come down, and she had been trying to get out of bed, and she is bawling. And she said, something is wrong. Call the ambulance. And right away I'm like, we live like a block. The ER is a block from us. I'm like, Darla, just let me get my daughter. We can help you and get you out to the car, and I can take you. Just please let me just help you. It doesn't make sense to call an ambulance. You're gonna be in pain whether they get you out or whether I get you out. So she did. She was willing to do it. It took a while. I warmed up the car. We got her out, and we got her to the ER. Now at the ER, at first I started getting frustrated. Because the doctor in the ER kept coming out and kept asking her numerous questions. And one of them was even like, you know, do you do drugs and stuff like that? And, you know, I don't know, like at the time I was irritated, and now I think I understand. I feel like now what was happening, what he was doing is he was just sitting on a bench and just basically looking at her and, you know, just he had already found out like where she was in pain at, what her symptoms were. And he's just basically staring at her, like not even talking. And I'm like, this is the dumbest doctor ever. Like, she needs surgery now, get her in, you know. But now I realize he basically was trying to solve this mystery. He's got these clues of what she's told him, of the pain that she's been in, and possible things like when she started to get the pain was right after the dry needling. And so he's got these clues, and he's trying to figure and process everything out. Well, by this time, the guy that did the physical therapist, I had posted something on Facebook. I'll have to go back and This one might be a little bit longer. Let me go back. Wednesday, when I had posted on social media a picture of the x-ray and explained what the doctor had said, the physical therapist right away told me there's no way. There's no possible way that the muscle can move the bone. No way. Well, anyway, he had also saw that I posted on social media that I'd taken her to the ER. And he came up and he sat there. And anyway, the ER doctor finally went and did a CT scan. Because again, she was just saying her neck. It just kept complaining. Like the biggest pain at that point was now her neck. And even though her back and everything and her hips were hurting, it was her neck that was the most painful. So we did a CT scan and the results came back and showed air in her neck. So the ER doctor said, we need to send her to a hospital. So she's going by ambulance to a hospital, the closest hospital, and they are going to do an MRI with contrast. He had looked, by this time I had the results of the MRI that she had gotten on Wednesday, and he looked at that and it didn't tell him anything. All it told him is that basically the compressed discs, basically what the x-ray showed. And he's like, she needs an MRI with contrast so we can really see what's going on in there. So the physical therapist left and Darla got in the ambulance and they drove her to the next ER center. And I'm going to stop right here for part 3. And again, stay tuned. She ends up literally fighting for her lives. The doctors didn't even think she was going to make it. So this is all from dry needling. And you know, share this video. People need to be educated about dry needling. I had no idea that you could even get an infection from dry needling, even though I've signed the consent forms. So again, share this video. This is part 3, and I'll share more tomorrow.